Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Mrs. Conant and everyone.
I'm doing a selfie powwow today, so this will be interesting. A couple of quick announcements. Next week is Student Sunday, so you're going to want to tune into worship service because there'll be some special things to honor the students of our church. So that'll be really special for sure. And then a reminder, got a couple of VBS. If you go to the VBS page on our church website, there's a new video where you'll see 2 new updates to Vacation Bible School, one for the 5th and 6th graders, and one for a way for you to all join in and us to sort of be able to do VBS together. So check out that video. And then I have another update that's not on the video. When you all come in July to pick up your kits, we want your whole family to come in because we're going to offer you a special surprise tropical treat. Mystery Island, I can't tell you what it is. Okay, so let's go to our books of the Bible. Let's start right here. Remembering that this book is Philemon, The Big Idea, Bondage to Brotherhood. Hebrews, Milk to Meat. Boys and girls, are you beating me on these? You getting to it before I say it? James, Faith Gauge. 1 Peter, Pain with a Purpose. 2 Peter, Poison in the Pew. And remember, we have our guy who's yawning, so this is 1 John, and this is our fellowship thermometer. And we have our 2 guys yawning, 2 John. Bolt the door. And now we're moving on to, of course, 3 John. And the big idea for 3 John is open the door. And I got to thinking, let's go back to this one real quick. You can pan out if you want. Bolt the door. We talked about the false teachers coming and wanting to stay in the homes of the Christians, and the Christians didn't know they were false teachers, so they were warned to bolt the door on those people. But how do we do that in real life now? We don't have people coming around to stay in our homes that are preaching falsely. I was going to have it in my hand, but we take our TV remote and we turn the channel. That's how we bolt the door. Because we're listening to a lot of falsehoods all over the television and on the internet. Change the channel on your computer. Turn off the remote. Change the channel on your remote. That's how we bolt the door to false teachings. So now let's move on to open the door. So in this case, John is telling everybody to open the door to Christians all around us. So if we have fellow believers, we need to open our doors wide with hospitality for them. So this is the book of 3 John, and the big idea is open the door. All right, so now I'm going to make Mr. Conant work a little bit because we're going to go back to Casket Empty. There's a video underneath here. I'll put this down. There's a video underneath me where you can learn what Casket Empty is. Remember that Pastor Stevens, professor from Gordon Conwell, came up with this acronym to help us get through the Bible timeline. She also wrote books and did charts and banners. It's incredibly detailed. You can learn a little bit of it, or you can learn a lot of it. And adults, if you love history, grab one of those books. They're so interesting. But I wanted to bring you downstairs in the church where we have one of the banners. So when we come back to church, you all can come down and take a look at this banner. There's also one upstairs, the balcony level in the junior high hallway. And I would encourage you to do that. So, okay kids, you ready? C, creation. A, Abraham. S, Sinai. The squeaky shoes, Mr. Conant. Kings. Where are we? S. K. Kings. It's way over here. E. Exile. And T. Temple. So last week when I was quizzing Bubba Debba, I said the book of Esther. And then I got to thinking about that I actually thought Esther might have come a little bit after the exile. So this is what's so cool about the chart. I could actually come here and look. So under E for exile, it's got all the books in here that are during this time. So like Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, Daniel, all of them during the exile. And under temple, I was right, I was wrong. Esther belongs under the temple period. Even though she was still in the exile area, the Israelites had already started coming back and rebuilding the temple. All right, ready? Let's move. I'm gonna hit this thing. Now we Now we have our New Testament. We have E for expectations, and what are we expecting? We are expecting the Messiah. P, Pentecost. Boys and girls, what book of the Bible is that? Church? Acts, right, Acts. T is teachings. And all of these books we've just been doing, all the Hebrews and Philemon and all the 1 Peter, 2 Peter, all of these are under teachings. A whole big chunk of them are under here. Probably, yeah, look, so many, so many. And then over here, our last one, Y is yet to come. So if I had to guess where we were in our lifetime right now, it would be right in this area. So think about where God has placed you. God made all these people to be in these areas, this area of time for a purpose, for a reason. And He's created you to be here in this time right now. So how can you equip yourself? How can you learn more? How can you be strong and love God and share God with other people to be in this time right now? So think about that this week, and we'll see you next week. You want to say goodbye, Mr. Conan? Flip it around here.
Okay. Goodbye, Mr. Conan.